Did you know that something as simple as your morning shower could be silently putting your life at risk? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? After all, showering is just part of our everyday routine, a way to wake up and feel refreshed. But for adults over 65, especially those in their 70s or older, the timing of that shower might hold hidden dangers you've never even considered. Let me share a story. Just last month, a 75-year-old man named Stanley Peterson, who lived a healthy lifestyle, exercised regularly, ate well, and stayed on top of his medical checkups, was found collapsed on the bathroom floor of his Massachusetts home. No signs of illness, no indication that anything was wrong. But one small choice changed everything. He took his shower during a specific time of day, now known by researchers as a danger zone for seniors. Why is this so important? Well, as we age, our bodies start to change in subtle and sometimes invisible ways. Things like unstable blood pressure, lower core body temperature overnight, impaired balance or vision in dim morning light. And when you mix those changes with hot water, certain medications, and the dehydration that naturally happens while we sleep, it creates a perfect storm for serious accidents. Most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Stanley's story isn't rare. In fact, researchers from Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and the National Institute on Aging are sounding the alarm. But surprisingly, very few people are talking about this. And that's why we made this video. Because today, we're going to walk you through the 7 hidden dangers of showering at the wrong time. And more importantly, the simple, life-saving changes you can make starting today. This isn't about fear. It's about empowering you and the people you care about with the right information to stay safe and independent for years to come. You'll discover why your blood pressure might suddenly crash in the shower, how just one night of dehydration increases your fall risk by up to 70%, and the most common mistakes seniors make with medication and morning hygiene. The best part? Every fix is easy, practical, and completely within your control. So if you're over 65, or if you love someone who is, this information could truly save a life. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss the essential safety tips coming up. Now, let's begin with the first hidden danger, the most risky time to shower, and why so many seniors don't even know it. The hidden danger of early morning showers. Frank Delaney had always cherished his peaceful morning routine. At 76, living alone in a quiet neighborhood outside Boston, he liked to rise just before sunrise, slip into his robe, and enjoy a hot shower at 6 a.m. It was his moment of calm before the world woke up. But one winter morning, something went terribly wrong. His daughter Linda decided to surprise him with breakfast. When he didn't answer the door, she let herself in. The coffee she brought was still warm when she found Frank unconscious on the bathroom floor, the water still running. Paramedics said his blood pressure had dropped so quickly, he never had a chance to call for help. Doctors later explained something Linda, like most people, had never heard of: the morning surge. As we age, especially after 70, our bodies lose the ability to regulate blood pressure as effectively. During the night, blood pressure naturally dips while we sleep. But between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., it spikes sharply, especially dangerous when combined with standing up, warm water, and medications. This early morning window is now recognized by researchers as the perfect storm for fainting, strokes, and heart attacks. In fact, Harvard Medical School reports that seniors are up to 80% more likely to experience a serious cardiovascular event during this time. And yet, so many think, "But I've always showered in the morning." I've never had a problem before. But aging changes the rules. What used to be harmless, even comforting, can now be risky. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your body is changing quietly, in ways you might not notice until it's too late. Frank had no warning, no signs, just a peaceful routine that almost cost him everything. But here's the good news. This risk, it's completely preventable. By simply shifting your shower time to between 10 a.m. and noon, you give your body time to wake up, stabilize blood pressure, rehydrate, and regain balance. One simple change, a life-saving difference. So take a moment today to ask yourself, is my shower time putting me, or someone I love, at risk? A sticky note on the mirror, a small shift in schedule. It could mean everything. 2. When hot water becomes a hidden threat. For over 30 years, Dorothy Mills began each morning with the same comforting ritual, a long, hot shower. It was her quiet moment of peace, a warm start to the day that felt like a gentle hug for the body and soul. But one winter morning, something felt off. As the steam rose and the warmth surrounded her, a strange wave of dizziness swept over her. Her heart started to race, her vision blurred, and she suddenly felt lightheaded. Fortunately, she had a grab bar nearby and managed to steady herself, but the moment was terrifying. At her next checkup, her doctor said something that caught her by surprise. After 70, your body's internal thermostat doesn't adjust the way it used to. As we age, our ability to regulate body temperature slows down. The internal signals that help keep us balanced in hot or cold environments become less responsive. That means a shower that feels soothing on the surface could actually shock your cardiovascular system, especially in the early morning, when your core body temperature is at its lowest. Here's what happens. The hot water causes your blood vessels to suddenly dilate. Your blood pressure drops. Your heart works harder to compensate. And in some cases, it can trigger irregular heart rhythms or even fainting. Dorothy's doctor wasn't trying to scare her. He was simply being honest. This kind of thermal shock is a real and under-recognized risk. There are documented cases of otherwise healthy seniors suffering cardiac events, not because of disease, but because their body could no longer cope with extreme temperature changes. Thankfully, Dorothy made 2 small but powerful changes. She lowered her shower temperature to a comfortable lukewarm range, about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It still felt good, but no longer overwhelmed her system. Her grandson helped install a scald prevention valve, a simple, inexpensive device that ensures the water never gets dangerously hot, even by accident. These easy fixes gave her back confidence and protected her from a risk she never knew existed. So take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you checked your water temperature? Is it too hot for a heart that doesn't recover the way it once did? 3. The dangerous timing of blood pressure medication. Every morning at exactly 6:30, George Whitman would take his tiny white pill, his prescribed dose of blood pressure medication, with a glass of water. Then, still in his slippers, he'd shuffle down the hall to take his usual morning shower. It was a familiar routine, until one Tuesday morning, when everything changed. His wife, Eleanor, heard a loud crash from the bathroom. She rushed in to find George collapsed on the floor, pale, confused, and barely able to speak. Thankfully, he was alive. But what happened next was a wake-up call. At the hospital, doctors explained that George had suffered a sudden and severe drop in blood pressure, known as hypotension. The cause? Something called the double drop effect, a silent trap, more common than you might think. Here's how it works. Most blood pressure medications peak in the body about 1 to 2 hours after taking them. If you shower during that time, the heat and upright posture cause your blood vessels to dilate even more. This can lead to a dramatic drop in blood pressure, even fainting, just like George. According to cardiologists at the Mayo Clinic, this overlap between medication effects and early showering is one of the most overlooked dangers for older adults. It's not that the medicine is bad. It's the timing that's the problem. After his hospital stay, George made 2 simple changes. He now waits at least 2 hours after taking his blood pressure medication before heading into the shower. He showers around 10:30 a.m. when his body is more alert, hydrated, and less vulnerable. Those small adjustments gave George his routine back and gave Eleanor peace of mind. So if you or someone you love is taking medications like lisinopril, amlodipine, or metoprolol, ask yourself, could the timing of your shower be accidentally putting you at risk? The good news? You have the power to change it. Starting tomorrow morning. The dangers you can't see until it's too late. It was still dark when Walter Jennings, 81, shuffled toward the bathroom. He didn't want to wake his wife, so he left the hallway lights off. Just a quick shower, he thought, like he had done so many mornings before. But moments later, the silence was shattered by a crash. His wife, Carol, found him crumpled on the bathroom floor. His leg twisted, the towel rack half ripped from the wall. Walter had slipped, not because he was being careless, but because he simply couldn't see a small puddle on the tile floor. The doctors later confirmed he had fractured his hip, just a few inches in another direction, and the fall could have been fatal. What most people don't realize is that vision in low light declines with age, even more so in the early morning, when the eyes are still adjusting and the body isn't fully alert. So many seniors don't see the puddles, the soap residue, or even the edge of a bath mat until it's too late. But this risk is avoidable. Simple steps like turning on full lights, even if it disturbs someone else's sleep, installing motion sensor nightlights in the hallway and bathroom, and using non-slip mats and grab bars can make all the difference between a peaceful morning and a trip to the ER. Closing thought tease. Coming up next, the overnight dehydration trap that increases fall risk by 70%, and the one mistake in your bathroom layout that might be silently endangering you every single day. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode from Elders Health Essentials, where we bring you the life-saving tips every senior and every caregiver deserves to know. 5. The hazards you can't see until it's too late. It's a story told far too often. As we age, something subtle but serious happens to our eyes. We begin to lose contrast sensitivity. That's the ability to see the difference between objects, shadows, and edges. And in low-light environments, like early morning hours, it can turn an ordinary bathroom into a hidden danger zone. White tile, clear water, a light gray bath mat. To younger eyes, it's obvious. To older eyes, it all blends together. The National Institute on Aging reports that seniors over 70 experience up to a 60% drop in visual clarity in dim conditions. That means small puddles, uneven surfaces, or the edge of a bath mat can simply disappear until it's too late. But here's the good news. This is one danger that's completely preventable. After Walter's fall, his son made 2 life-changing updates. He installed motion-activated nightlights in the hallway and bathroom. Now, whenever Walter walks in, the space gently lights up. No switches, no stumbling in the dark. He replaced their old, faded bath mat with a bright yellow non-slip version, something that stands out clearly, even under soft lighting. These small changes transformed Walter's bathroom from a hazard into a haven. So ask yourself, does your bathroom lighting support your vision at 5 a.m.? Can you clearly see the floor, the edge of the shower, or the towel hook without squinting or straining? If the answer isn't a confident yes, it might be time to rethink your setup, not to decorate, but to protect. Because sometimes the greatest risks are the ones we never see coming. If this video gave you a new sense of awareness or a quiet moment of hope for someone you love, let us know in the comments. Your story might just inspire someone else to make a change. What's one small update you'll make starting tomorrow? 6. The hidden risk of morning dehydration. At 7:15 every morning, Marvin Blake stepped into the bathroom, turned on the water, and climbed into the warm spray of his daily shower. He didn't eat breakfast, didn't drink water. "I'll hydrate after," he'd say casually to his wife, Evelyn. But one morning, Marvin didn't make it out of the shower. He'd felt a little dizzy the past few days, but brushed it off. That day, his legs simply gave out, and he collapsed in the tub. It took Evelyn several minutes to realize something was wrong. When the paramedics arrived, they gave her news she never expected. Marvin was severely dehydrated, and that likely triggered his fall. Most people don't realize this, but after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body wakes up in a state of dehydration. No fluids, no replenishment, just hours of slow fluid loss through breathing and sweat. This leaves your blood volume lower, circulation slower, and muscles more prone to weakness and fatigue. For seniors, that means dizziness, lightheadedness, and sudden blood pressure drops, especially in a hot shower when you're upright, exposed to heat, and still feeling that early morning sluggishness. Dr. William Parker, a leading geriatric hydration expert, says it best. For seniors, dehydration doesn't always feel like thirst. It feels like lightheadedness. It feels like a slip waiting to happen. The solution? So simple it's often overlooked. Now, before Marvin steps into the shower, he drinks a full glass of water, about 8 ounces, first thing in the morning. He keeps it on the nightstand and drinks it before his feet even touch the floor. Within 15 minutes, he feels more steady, clear, and energized. That one small step became a life-saving habit. So here's the final question of today's video. When you wake up tomorrow, will your body be ready for the shower, or will it be silently running low? At Elders Health Essentials, we believe in one simple truth. A safer life begins with small, smart choices. Whether it's lowering the water temperature, adjusting the timing of your medication, improving lighting, or simply having a glass of water. These aren't dramatic changes, but they can make a life-changing difference. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. And let us know in the comments, what's the one thing you're going to change starting tomorrow morning? Because safety doesn't start with fear. It starts with awareness, and awareness begins right here. 6. When no one is there to hear you fall. It was 5:45 a.m. The sun hadn't yet risen over Florence Green's quiet home in rural Indiana. The house was still, the air cool, and Florence, 74, was beginning her usual morning routine, a quick shower before her crossword and coffee. But that morning, something went wrong. She slipped. One moment she was steady. The next, she was on the cold tile floor, her leg twisted beneath her, steam rising around her like fog. She tried to move, tried to call out, but no one was there. Her phone? In the living room. The bathroom door? Closed. Florence lived alone. It wasn't until almost 9 a.m. that her neighbor, stopping by to drop off mail, heard faint banging from inside. Florence had been lying there, in pain, soaked and helpless, for over 3 hours. The emergency team said she was lucky, no hypothermia. Her fracture was treatable. But the fear lingered, the thought that if no one had stopped by, she might have been there all day, or worse. And this isn't rare. According to the Emergency Medicine Journal, falls that happen between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. often go unnoticed for hours, especially among seniors who live alone or don't have early contact with family. Those quiet morning hours can become dangerously silent. But there's a solution, and every senior should consider it. After her fall, Florence's son installed a waterproof emergency call button within arm's reach of the shower. It connects wirelessly to a base in the house and can alert family or emergency services with a single press. She also created a simple habit, a quick daily check-in with her daughter by 7:30 a.m. A text, a call, just a minute of connection. Because when it comes to falls, it's not always the fall itself that does the most harm. It's how long we lie there waiting to be found. So ask yourself, or someone you love, if you fell at 5 a.m., how long would it take for someone to notice? If the answer is more than an hour, it's time to make a change. 7. When your mind wakes up slower than your body. Every morning around 5:30, Franklin Davis started his day the same way. Shuffle into the bathroom. Turn on the hot water. Let the steam wash away the sleep. It was his peaceful ritual. But one morning something felt off. The water seemed warmer than usual. Not unbearable, just different. He adjusted the faucet, or at least he thought he did. A minute later, he felt a sharp sting. The water had turned scalding hot. Franklin pulled back, yelping in pain. He suffered second-degree burns on his arm and shoulder. But what shocked him most wasn't the burn. It was how slowly he noticed something was wrong. Later, his neurologist explained, between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., the brain's cognitive function, especially in older adults, is at its lowest. Reaction time, decision-making, awareness, all slowed. It's not about intelligence, it's about circadian rhythm. Your brain may not be fully awake even if your body is. In fact, Stanford researchers have found that reaction times can drop by up to 30% in early morning hours for older adults. That means small misjudgments, like slipping on a damp tile or misjudging the water temp, become much more likely. That's why the safest time for seniors to shower is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. By then, the mind is clearer, reflexes sharper, the body more stable. Franklin's daughter also installed a shower timer with a gentle chime, a soft reminder to stay present and alert while bathing. Now, he showers around noon and hasn't had a single incident since. So here's a final question to reflect on. Are you showering when your brain is truly ready to protect you? Or are you relying on foggy morning instincts that might not be up to the task? A small change in timing could be the difference between a safe start and a preventable accident you never saw coming. In the quiet moments of our daily routines, it's easy to forget how fragile life can be. A warm shower, a familiar hallway, a morning habit we've followed for decades. They feel safe. But as the years pass, even the most familiar routines deserve a second look. Because aging isn't about weakness, it's about caring for ourselves with more wisdom, more awareness, and more grace. What we shared today isn't just about avoiding accidents. It's about honoring the life you've built and protecting it with the same love you give to those you care about most. A few small changes can become powerful acts of self-care, not just for your body, but for your future. So take this to heart. Safety isn't surrender. It's strength in another form. You're not being cautious because you're weak. You're being wise because you've lived long enough to know every step, every breath, every quiet morning matters. If this video touched you or helped you see your routine in a new light, please take a moment to like and share it with someone you love. Let us know in the comments, what small change will you make starting tomorrow? And for more gentle, life-saving tips just like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because together, we can grow stronger, wiser, and safer, one morning at a time.